Welcome back to our special coverage of our farewell to the fallen. We have spoken with our first responders. They tell us they are so thankful for all of the support. It really matters. Father Kevin Donovan is a chaplain for the Connecticut State Police, and he is joining us now along with former Mayor O'Leary. Thank you so much for being here. But I want to talk with you, Father, about it's meaningful from your perspective as you try and support these officers. You say the community support is vital.
Sure. I'm going to reinforce what Mayor O'Leary said, that support that is honestly is quite overwhelming, is so vital to these police officers and state troopers, all in the law enforcement business, in law enforcement, because there's so much against them today. There's so much against them. So to see the outpouring of communities is incredibly moving. In Bristol, I've been to Bristol a couple of times, and right after the incident itself, and to see the outpouring on a limited scale at that point with other police officers coming in. But if you go to Bristol now and you see the tremendous outpouring of flowers and other tributes that are left at the police station, that really lifts up the hearts of our police officers.
Yeah, well, much like when our soldiers come home from war and feeling that support of the country and feeling everyone's got their back. Speaking of the support, it's not just here in Connecticut. We are expecting as many as maybe 50,000 people. Correct. Officers will be coming from all over different states, even Canada today, right? Correct.
Absolutely, they'll be from, a massive amount of officers from New England, but they'll be from as far west, I bet, as California, south as Florida. As Father mentioned, be from officers from Canada, and there may well be officers from other parts of the world as well, Ireland, Italy. When we had the officer death in '92, they did come from Ireland, Italy, and also as far away as Alaska and Hawaii as well.
These officers are young, one with a young wife, other with children and a baby on the way. Everyone is wondering, what do I do? I mean, so many people, as you said, have been touched by this. How do we support the families going forward?
Unless you have direct contact, what do you mean with all police officers' families?
Well, I mean specifically with these two fallen officers. I know hearts are breaking for their families, and that's going to be an area of support, but people want to do it in the right way.
Well, I think praying for these folks is the wives and the children is primarily what you can do, what people can do, because unless you know these people, you're not going to have any contact with them. So to pray for them. You could also make donations to various organizations to express your support and your gratitude for the sacrifice of these two individual police officers.
Or make donations directly to the families.
Yes. And those are set up. We have that information on WFSB.com and on the Channel 3 app. The Thomaston Savings Bank has ways that you can donate to these families. I know organizations have been pulling together and raising monies for both these families because they are going to need everyone's support.
There's a GoFundMe for them as well that's raised, last I looked, was something like $250,000.
Yeah.
And when we had this in Waterbury in 1992, the outpouring of support financially was absolutely amazing, and it meant so much to the family, because similar to Lieutenant DeMonte's family, Mrs. Williams had two very young children and one on the way.
Yes. Walter Williams, when he passed away, and that was when you were chief, that was your case to handle.
It was. I was a detective sergeant at the time.
Detective sergeant, okay.
And now in my role as mayor, I see what a difference it made for all three of those children and Mrs. Williams to provide the financial stability to that family. And Sergeant Hamsey as well. He's got a young wife and financial obligations, and now things in her life have changed dramatically. And all the support that can be provided for those that can provide would be greatly appreciated by both of these officers' families to a degree that would be really hard for us to understand. But don't forget, after today, there's a lot of tomorrow.
Yes.
And these are the things that are often not really appreciated as much, because as time goes by, these things tend to people go back to their normal lives, but their lives
Yes.
will never be the same.
The grieving
And that's what-
continues, and so being there for the long
continues.
haul.
And
And also for Officer Iorado, who was a hero in this situation. We'll talk more about
incredible.
him coming up. Thank you both for being here, and we're just